Hey guys, Chen here over at Saglo Companies. I just got an email that a tenant is looking to expand rapidly throughout Florida and also the Southeast. And I actually think they're expanding throughout the country, maybe. And that is Seven Brews Coffee. And I wanted to share to you what that email looks like and how tenant rep brokers write their emails in their site selection criteria and what they're looking for in commercial real estate. All right, so you guys are seeing that this is Seven Brews Coffee growing fast throughout Southeast Florida, and they're actually growing, I think, throughout the Southeast United States. They recently had, or within the last year, had a major investment in Blackstone. So Blackstone's a huge private equity company that invests in many things, commercial real estate, data centers, and also a few retailers. Seven Brews they're invested in. They're also invested in Jersey Mike's, and they're also invested in Tropical Smoothie Cafe, actually. And so this is what it looks like. It's being represented by Franklin Street. They are a major commercial real estate brokerage, and they also do insurance. They were founded in Tampa, Florida. But this is for this greater Southeast Florida market from Brevard County all the way down to Miami-Dade County. So I look at the criteria. It says 20,000 BPD. That stands for vehicles per day, which means that they want to be on roads that are heavily trafficked. And 20,000 vehicles per day is a pretty easy hurdle to meet. Any road with decent amount of traffic will probably meet that. For example, if you're in Miami, Florida, and you look at Kendall Drive probably has 60,000 vehicles per day. If you're on South Dixie Highway in Miami, Florida, that might be 80,000 or 100,000 vehicles per day. So 20,000 vehicles per day is pretty easy, but they don't want a sleepy road. So if it's a side road with 10,000, 15,000 vehicles per day, that will probably get kicked out pretty quickly. The next bullet point is close to high traffic destinations. So that means they want good co-tenancy, but they're being pretty open about it. Some retailers might say close to supermarkets or close to Targets or close to something very specific like a fitness center. But I think that they're pretty open to whether it being a fitness center, a supermarket, a Target, but maybe even a tourist attraction or something else that's driving a lot of traffic. As long as it brings people, that's what they want to be adjacent to. And super important is the convenient ingress and egress. So what does that mean? That means that you can turn from the road into the property from both directions, meaning that if you're coming on the same side of the road, it's very easy to make a right into the property. And if you're coming on the opposite direction of the road, you can make a left into the property by crossing the traffic coming from the opposite direction and also getting out of it similarly easily. So this is a drive-through concept, which makes it a little bit more difficult because not every piece of property you can do the drive-throughs, because drive-throughs require stacking and it requires certain access and certain zoning actually. Not every piece of property would be allowed to do drive-through types of businesses. And strong residential, which is kind of interesting because they could have said strong commercial, meaning that being in some sort of a downtown area where they're surrounded by offices. But no, they want to be near where the people live. So they want to be in those bedroom communities and in the suburban type of areas. Preferred co-tenants, big box retail. So this would include big boxes such as Dick's Sporting Goods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross Dress for Less, but also the supermarkets like Publix, Whole Foods, and also Target, Walmart, maybe even Best Buy, anything that's in the suburbs that you can really think about when you're thinking about a shopping center. Grocery anchored centers, national QSR brands. So food kind of attracts other food. It's, they travel in packs, I guess. So if Seven Brews were to be located in between Taco Bell, Popeyes, McDonald's, Burger King, then I guess there's some cross traffic there where maybe someone finishes their meal at McDonald's and says, let me go next door to get a coffee at Seven Brews. University and college campuses. If you're studying, if you're, up all night, cramming for a test, you're drinking coffee. I think that it's pretty scientific, and I'm sure the research also acknowledges that. So they want to be near where the students are. Large medical developments. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I haven't seen large medical developments that much before, but that would be major hospitals, regional hospitals, big medical office buildings, and medical office campuses. When you see preferred co-tenants, that's just kind of jogging your mind so that it gives you an idea of what they want. But I think that this one probably isn't so stringent where, if you have something that falls a little bit outside of these co-tenants, they'll probably still consider it as long as that it is drawing traffic and a similar customer base that they are servicing. But the drive-through is going to be non-negotiable. The vehicles per day, non-negotiable. And the ingress egress, certainly non-negotiable. 0.3 acres. This is actually not too bad. I would say that a lot of the QSRs, like the McDonald's and the Burger Kings out there, Taco Bell, they're looking for half of an acre. So 0.3 acres is on the smaller side. So perhaps you don't have enough land to accommodate a KFC or something like that. So I think this could be a good option for you if your land's a little bit too small. Outparcel of existing shopping center. So a lot of the shopping centers, as you know, have outparcels, and the pad sites are very nice because it's already level and there's already a lot of utilities brought to that site. So it makes it very easy to plug and play. Purchase or ground lease. So this is great because a lot of the retailers now, they will only want to purchase. And in this particular case, they'll purchase or they'll ground lease. When you're looking at it, the ground lease on 0.3 acres could be $60,000 a year. It could be $100,000 a year, or somewhere in between. For a really good site, maybe it's even $150,000 a year, but that would be a very, very high number for 0.3 acres. And on the low side, I don't think it's going to be under $60,000 per year. On the purchase, just think of whatever that ground lease number is and multiply that by 15. So that would probably be the purchase amount. On some of the existing buildings, a vacant bank or quick service restaurant buildings can attach modular building to existing strip centers. That I am not too sure what they mean, but I'm guessing that they are prefabricating their building, and then maybe they can put it on like an end cap or something of an existing strip center. There you go, modifying existing end cap spaces to accommodate drive-through. So maybe that's what it is. They're saying that maybe you have an end cap, that's the end of a property, and it doesn't have a drive-through, and it doesn't have the restaurant or coffee shop type of build out. Maybe it's a prefabricated building that just can be placed there to accommodate them. So they have a few brokers here. Looks like they're teaming up with Team LBR, which is Lytle, Beckner, Robertson, and Bedor's our leasing associate over in Orange City and Melbourne for properties there. He's awesome. Or you can call Kaylin or Madison over at Franklin Street. Bill Pace is a good friend also. He's been in the business a while. I remember when he first started about 20 years ago. In any case, just wanted to walk you through what this looked like. Actually, let's go ahead and go to the map. All right, so here are some locations of 7 Brew Coffee that are existing in Florida. I just want to kind of walk you through some of the things that they talked about and see if that applies in these locations, right? So here is one. This is in Palm Beach County. Okay, internet's being a little slow. All right, so you got I-95 and Okeechobee Road. What's great here is that if you're a commuter and you're on 95, you can pop off of 95 very quickly, pop into the 7 Brews and leave. But let's look at the ingress and egress. When they say ingress and egress, it's how can they get onto this site without having to U-turn, or essentially without having the U-turn. So if you're coming this way, westbound on Okeechobee Boulevard, you can certainly just turn right into the property. There's even a deceleration lane here that brings you right in. If you're going the other way, going towards, let's say, you live further out west, somewhere here, and you're going towards I-95, how do you go into the 7 Brews? Well, you can make a left at this intersection, and turn into the property this way, and then you can leave the same way. You have full access on this exit here of the property. That's great, because if you didn't have that, like let's take a look at these hardscape medians, right? You can make a left into PDQ, but then to make a left out, you can't make a left out of that same access point. You actually have to go all the way through the property to this road here and then leave. So that's what I'm talking about, access. As far as traffic, you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes going west and 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes going east. That's 8 lanes of traffic. There is a 100% chance it's got greater than 20,000 vehicles per day. If I had to take a guess, it's probably 50 to 65,000 vehicles per day. Now let's look at the co-tenancy, because they're making a big deal about traffic generators. Looks like there's a Staples here. There's some sort of an appliance store, Advanced Auto, Michaels. So I wouldn't say that's very high traffic generators. There's a Rooms to Go. Furniture typically doesn't drive a lot of traffic. So this site, I would say, doesn't have that much traffic as co-tenant, but maybe the accessibility and the visibility and the vehicles per day made it so that they still wanted to be there. And also maybe the price, right? But you can kind of see here that you do need to have certain things for a drive-through to make sense. And so you can see why not every site would be suitable for a drive-through. And I think in this case, it might be a double drive-through, but this one here is certainly the drive-through on the inner circle. The outside circle looks to be a second drive-through. And then the third one here, that's actually called, I forgot the name of it, but it's basically a way to escape, meaning that you're not going to be forced to go through the drive-through if you don't want to. There's a turnout lane here for you to get out. Let's take a look at another one. All right, let's take a look at Hillsborough Avenue, which, by the way, this is in the Tampa, Florida market. It's near one of our properties here. Our property is on Florida Avenue and Waters Avenue by the Lowry Park, and it's called Seminole Heights Plaza. So if you're looking for space in Tampa, definitely go check that out. But here is the 7 Brews that is on Hillsborough Avenue in the Tampa market, right next to Raymond James Field. That's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play, the football team. And let's take a look. So it's right here. Looks like perhaps it's an older type of building, not as nice as the one that we just looked at. And let's look at the accessibility and so forth. From an access standpoint, to get into here from Hillsborough Avenue directly, you can certainly make a left in if you're going west. But if you're going east, you can make a left in, you can make a right in going west, and you can make a left in going east. Now, if you wanted to leave and go the other way, you can make a right out and continue going west. But then if you wanted to go back east, how do you do it? Well, I guess you would have to go through the back here, through Himes Avenue, hit this light and go east. So you definitely got the full access, maybe not as straightforward, but it's there. And the visibility is there. It's right on the road. There's 6 to 8 lanes of traffic, so you got the 20,000 vehicles per day. But how about the co-tenancy? Well, you have some QSR, you have Wendy's, and then you have a Walmart neighborhood grocer. So you have the grocer, you have the QSR. So this one kind of hits all the boxes, actually. So I think this is a great one. And also, you know, it's off of this major road here, Dale Maybury Highway, and people can exit off, get their coffee, and get back on fairly easily. So this one hits all the boxes. This just gives you an idea of how national retailers are looking at sites, and hope you enjoyed seeing it from someone that's in the trenches in retail. All right. Thank you.